week, Music Week announced or released their 30 under 30 list. Now, this list is supposed to give us a snapshot of the 30 most influential people who are under 30 in music, in the UK music industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, people were in uproar because only
as they normally are.
We've always got something to say. Out of the 30 finalists, only 2 were from an ethnic minority.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So everyone has been saying, really, is this the future of the music scene?
Yeah.
And then since then, other publications have created their own alternative version of the 30 under 30 list with a bit more diversity. So the UK Complex magazine and Nation of Billions have given their own alternative, 30 under 30 list. Now, like, it kind of feeds into the wider debate about the lack of, I guess, diversity of young ethnic minorities in terms of the respect and, the kind of support that they get. For example, like a lot of grime acts weren't nominated for Brit Awards. Like, Skepta had a big year, Krypton Conan had a big year, Stormzy, like, a lot of, young black boys had really successful, they charted hits.
Yeah.
And they
Like
weren't nominated for Brit
as
Awards.
well.
So what do you think this list is actually saying? What do you think about it? And what do you think about the kind of wider debate?
I think the main thing about the list was, I nominated one of my colleagues, Rashid Kazari, who runs Link Up TV. I nominated him for the 30 under 30 Music Week. And they put him in another list called The Best of the Rest. So basically...
That's insulting though, I think.
Yeah, so he didn't make the top 30, fine. So they put him on another list, which was Best of the Rest, and it's like, okay, cool. And quite a lot of people of diverse backgrounds were in Best of the Rest.
The rest.
Yeah.
Like the rest. Like, you're like, don't worry.
The help.
The help.
The help.
Yeah.
It was quite shocking. Now, I'm not sure if the Best of the Rest category was for other nominees. So if people were put forward, they just put in that list.
Yeah.
Or if they actually looked into his... we all had to write bios about what they do and all that kind of stuff. So, it wasn't just a random list. This was people actually either nominated themselves or were nominated and put in, really impressive CVs and bios. But I think the problem is that the industry only looks as far as their front door.
Of course they do.
If you're not there, you're not there. Like, it's literally outside, out of mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main problem. They're not allowing other outside influences into the scene. Like, they're basically saying, oh, you're doing all right in your area, but you don't have to be a part of ours.
But
so you could be killing it in your area.
But is it music?
Skepta. No,
like, why is it
not.
like, oh, okay, music, pop music, oh, but you grime people.
Do you know what? It's really
But
unfortunate.
Grime's always been like chucked into a corner.
But it's unfortunate that there's still a class system.
Yeah.
There's still a race system. There's still a culture difference. Like, you're not of us, so you're not included.
Which
so
is
you're
shocking.
not pop enough to be at the Brit Awards. It's basically what they're saying. You could have had, like, a lot of these lists are made out of buzz and who you know. Same as the nominations for the Brit Awards. It's who you know. If your manager or your PR doesn't know the people at the top, you won't get named. And that's literally what it is.
But this has been going on for too long. Do you remember years ago, I think it was like the late 90s or early 2000, Craig David got nominated for 6 Brit Awards. And I will never forget, he won nothing.
Yeah,
he was the biggest artist that year. And I just think, do you know what? It's been going on for too long. I don't necessarily agree with segregation. People will say we've got the Mobos. No. Why can't we be on the big platforms?
Exactly.
Why do we have to have our own?
Because the
bucket
Mobos is
list?
kind of like, they kind of shade it a little bit. It's kind of like, the Mobos is not as important. It's
Yeah,
like ITV2
exactly,
instead of
yeah,
ITV.
exactly.
It's like, what the hell? Like,
Exactly.
it's stupid. It's
I
stupid.
just think, like, it's too long. So how many need, 20 years later? This kind of feeds into another debate as well. So we recently, Girls Talk London held an event, the women behind the music, trying to tackle the lack of women in the music industry. So, like, in terms of female songwriters, sort of out of 95,000 songwriters, like something like 13% are like women, really kind of low numbers. Actually, let me get the right. Yes, 13% are female. 95,000 songwriters, 13% are female. So it's really kind of like quite shocking. The divide between male and female is 67.8% male versus 32.2% female in the music industry. And so we had this event to try and encourage young girls to think about careers in the music industry. And I mean, I just think, like, when you think about these kind of figures, we're not talking about, singers, we're talking about people that are kind of like, you know, songwriters, producers, managers, record label execs, like musicians. Where are the women? Why do you think there's just not enough women in this industry actually, you know, behind the scenes in powerful positions? Because it's all right for us to be twerking and working all this stuff.
Do you know what? I know a very, very influential woman who, I won't say her name because she's very, very behind the scenes. And I went to a talk similar as well about women in music. And I literally said to her, you should be on that panel. You've worked with, like, she's worked with so many pop stars, so many talent, so much talent, and she's managed them, like, developed them, all kinds of stuff. And I said, you should be on there. And she was like, no, I don't need to be on there. Let the younger ones go through. And I was like,
no, man.
This is the main problem with women.
Yeah, they kind of say
sometimes they don't want the spotlight. Sometimes they are happy to be at the back. And the modesty is what gets in the way. Like sometimes they're like, I don't have, no, I'm not really the one for cameras. I'm not really the one to be in the spotlight. And it's like, come on, like, be bossy. You can be a female boss.
Exactly.
You can tell them that you.
But it's a very British attitude, because Americans are like, yes, you can see that I am the powerful woman. And they're like, yes. But we're in the UK, we're like, oh no, fuss, love. I'll just sit here, a cup of tea. You know, it's like, no.
And this is a woman.
Sing out about your success.
This is a woman that walks around in a fur coat. And she'll walk into like the Sony building,
wow.
Some of the work I do, I end up at these buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen her on several occasions in this building, walking through her fur coat.
Flouncing.
I'm like, hey girl,
Cookie lion.
literally, I'm looking at her like, yes, tell them, strut to the front,
She needs to be seen.
push the door open. But then
That's
when
the
I was like,
problem.
you should be up there, and she was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, for goodness sake, woman. You're a freaking icon, but she doesn't want to be.
Exactly.
So I think that might be what gets in the way some of the time.
If I was a mother and I had children, I would want my kids to be like that Olympic athlete. That's what I want to be like.
Yeah.
She's amazing. This businesswoman, she runs this, she runs that. She's the CEO
amazing.
of this. I want to be like her. But no, what happens is they go, I want to be Rihanna. I want to wear no clothes. I want to get my boobs out and work and twerk on every mother out there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Another point though, I do feel like, I know it's disrespect to the men, but sometimes they don't credit the women. They don't actually say this woman actually done everything. But because he might have been the director, you need to shout out your producer. You need to shout out all the people that were doing all the work behind you as well. And I think that's sometimes
one person who does do that quite well is Charlie Sloth. He does that quite well. On One Extra, Delisa. He's always talking about Delisa this, Delisa that, my producer. He does, and I rate him for that because everyone knows who she is.